listen to select games on 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
WVLQ Port St. Joe, WGSX, powered by Panama City Toyota.
ESPN Northwest Florida.
And now, the Gulf Coast's newest sports talk host.
Hey, there's the new guy.
Paul Wilson.
That is not winning football.
Paul is your pipeline to the heart of the action.
The defense can only play this good for so long.
Hot takes, big reactions, and your calls are incoming.
This week, it's really going to be crucial.
The Sports Blitz.
They're playing championship football.
The new Sports Blitz.
You can say what you want.
On 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
Sound, you know what that means. It's a Sports Blitz here with Paul Wilson at 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida. It's a Tuesday on this cold, frigid day in Panama City Beach, Florida. Wow, you need to get your jackets on. You need to get your turtlenecks back out. It's cold here in the Panhandle. As always on a Tuesday, I'm joined here with Jeffrey. Jeffrey? You're wearing your long sleeve today. Good job on that.
My long johns.
Your long johns. You got them on both ways? Top and bottoms?
No.
No? Okay.
That's when it's really, really cold.
Yeah. Well, it was really, really cold this morning.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. I wake up at 5 in the morning.
Yeah. So
Yeah, it was so cold that the plumber was pulling up his pants. You didn't have that plumber, showing.
Yeah. Boom. Wow. He'll be here all day, guys.
Yep,
He'll be here
that's what my
all
schedule
day
is.
long. So, and as always, in the glass bubble, it is a Bone Crusher. How you doing, Bone Crusher?
Any cover charge for those jokes there?
Maybe
We got
a
some
little.
more corny ones coming. You just wait.
Yeah. Who needs old men jokes when Jeff's around?
Yeah.
I'll tell you that. But anyway, this is a special day. This is Veterans Day. So we would like to say thank you and, all the things that you can say to all the veterans for their service. We appreciate you so much for all that you've done. And I want to add this to it, something maybe that doesn't get as much publicity in the fact that, you know what, thank you to the women that stayed home and raised the kids, took care of the house, maybe worked an extra job, maybe, all of that, took care of the money. Thank you for the ladies as well, because, they say it, and I'm a testament to this, behind every good man is a good woman. So thank you, not only veterans, but also thank you to the women that are married to those men that are off and doing that. Don't you think that's a good idea?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
It's a team effort.
It is a team effort. It really is, because without that support at home, those guys, they kind of get, can get kind of crazy in those times.
But, in our area and also over towards Pensacola and all that, there's we're a high percentage of veterans here.
Absolutely.
In this area.
Yes.
But a lot of women veterans.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
absolutely.
Yeah,
huge,
so men
huge
and-
here.
yeah, men and
more so
women.
than Louisiana. That's an observation of mine. But the Panhandle has a high percentage of women veterans.
Yeah, I can't remember the number. It was like 200 million veterans are alive today or something like that.
What?
Yeah, and
That's
so
absolutely crazy.
And I think the percentage is like, I'm not 100% if I'm right or wrong on this, but it was like 1.4% is female. I'm not 100% sure about that, but
Probably fluctuates.
Yeah, it's
just
definitely-
like anything. You look at different professions. Like my daughter's going into pharmacy, right? Oh, I just want you to take a guess at what do you think would be approximately the percentage of women in pharmacy school?
15%.
I'm pretty sure it's above 70%. 80%.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, they dominate pharmacy.
Wow. Okay.
It's absolutely just, I mean, I don't know. That's huge. I mean,
Jokes and knowledge. Man, we got it all here. I mean, when you look at nurses, it's usually a high percentage of women.
Way high, well above 80%, probably above 90.
Yeah.
But it's been changing over years.
Yeah.
And then you look at other healthcare, I mean, other than doctors, we're not going to talk about doctors because, I mean, they've been gaining for sure, but it's still pretty imbalanced.
Yeah.
But OT, occupational therapist, PT, RT, all the therapists and all that. My daughter, the other one, she's in speech pathology. Mm-hmm. So she's a speech therapist.
Yeah.
And, it's way dominated by women.
Yeah, because women have better pronunciation of names than we do. Us men, we don't really know how to pronounce stuff.
Every so often you'll see me smile, and I say a lot of words wrong. Am I right?
Yes, 100% right. Yes.
But it is veterans instead of veterans.
Right.
And in Louisiana,
Veterans.
a lot of people pronounce it wrong. Veterans.
Yeah.
Instead of veterans. And there's other words like realtor. It's not realtor. It's realtor.
Yeah. Yeah. Either way,
anyway, that was
jokes, knowledge, and pronunciations. And
then I'll butcher some other words up. Don't worry about it.
The trifecta, Jeffrey. I mean, come on. And
total package.
I mean, geez, wow. Never would you have known that you would have listened to our show today and gained the knowledge. I mean, actually, you could probably win bingo today. Yeah, for sure.
Is Multiconte?
Yeah, he's on there. Hey, hey, Christopher Multiconte. Hey, Otis Reed. Hey, Ginger Godwin. Hey, guys, how are y'all?
Why doesn't that guy call in? I want to hear some Chris Multiconte sometime.
Well, he probably, well, if you get to talking about Miami today, I'm guaranteeing you.
We're talking about Miami today for sure.
For sure.
It's on.
But let's get back to the veterans. Do you have anybody? Because I have somebody in my family that was wounded in Vietnam.
Wow.
And his name is James Sullivan, but we call him Uncle Jimmy. Mm-hmm. And still alive and kicking, married to my aunt. And he was wounded in Vietnam, and but was fine. Come back home, and not inhibited at all. Was shot in the back shoulder.
Oh, wow.
And, every once in a while we would see it, that thing. But, I mean, just a great man, and we appreciate him.
The scars that people don't show on the outside sometimes,
Yeah.
And that one is, covered, obviously. But, I mean, it's the emotional, everything. I mean, it's...
Oh, yeah.
My dad was during Korea. That shows you how old my dad was.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he was stationed in different places, but he never got sent to Korea because he was Air Force, and Air Force had limited interactions in Korea.
So one thing that was kind of cool about my uncle was the fact that he had a scholarship to play football at the University of Alabama for Bear Bryant.
What?
And instead of going to Alabama, he enlisted in the war and to Vietnam and went to Vietnam.
That sounds like Pat Tillman type stuff.
Yeah. So, I think it was last year, he was the veteran of the day for the state of Alabama. He was awarded that. So,
wow.
And him and Tommy Tuberville had a big, long conversation about that. So, really cool opportunity for him. So,
Tuberville, he's just running for governor right now.
Running for governor now. Yeah.
So, the election is next year?
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah. So, but yeah, so we're thankful for that, and I don't know if Uncle Jimmy's listening, but thank you, sir. We appreciate you.
Yeah.
And that's the stuff that people don't realize, that going over there and fighting in a war that yes, you signed up for it, but when you get over there and when you have to do the things you have to do for our country, for our freedom, and that's why it's so important that we, as citizens of this great country, America, that we appreciate them, not just on this day, but on every day, And
it's basically like selfless acts.
Right.
That's a major one. That's commitment.
That's commitment. That's love. That's honor. That's all of those things. So, it's a really respectable thing. And, when you see those, those colors, and you definitely want to respect them because people fought, bled, and died for them. So
you ever? I've been in stadiums that have the flyover. That's sometimes it'll send goosebumps. And also watching the Army-Navy game at the beginning. Oh, yeah. I just sometimes just get goosebumps. I'm like, wow. It's like electric in the air.
It is. It's pretty awesome. So, but happy Veterans Day to everyone, especially the dads, the grandpas, the sons, everybody, all of you, the moms, all of you. So anyway, happy Veterans Day. Going to talk some baseball real quick. Nick Kurtz from the Oakland Athletics yesterday was named Rookie of the Year for the American League, and the Atlanta Braves catcher Drake Baldwin named Rookie of the Year for the National League. So outstanding catcher for the Braves. He did do some DHing, but definitely a cornerstone for this Atlanta Braves team.
Are you surprised by either one?
No. I'm a little bit surprised by Nick Kurtz. He was a late bloomer in the year because if you remember, Jacob Wilson was an all-star. Shortstop, started the All-Star game as a rookie, come from Grand Canyon University. Awesome. Had a great year. His teammate is Nick Kurtz. Kurtz came on the scene and just started crushing the ball. And here we go. Guess what they awarded? They awarded home runs and exit velocity and farness of home runs, because Jacob Wilson had a higher batting average. So is that going to tip our hat to who they're going to go for the MVP? Because the MVP gets named on Thursday. So you've got Kyle Riley, who hit more home runs, had more RBIs, but then you've got Aaron Judge, who was second in home runs, second in RBIs, but had the higher batting average. So now we're going to see what they value more. Is it the home runs or is it batting average? So in the Rookie of the Year for the American League, they went with Nick Kurtz with the home runs.
Well, also, think about this. We're talking about Braves and A's. They're not going after teams that are on the top tier this year as far as record goes. So that's also beneficial to certain players. For
that's so true. And so, it's going to be curious to see. So I'm excited about that. I know it's football season, but we always got to throw in any type of, and especially being a Braves fan, having that happen, which we all knew that was going to happen because Drake Baldwin is a stud. So either way, let us know. What do you think about this? Brian Kelly. The saga continues. Now, you said on Thursday, I think, it was either Thursday or Friday, we talked about the buyout was $25 million, and that was correct. That was what everybody was saying. But little did we know that was not the agreed upon number. That was the offered number by the LSU or LSU University, Louisiana State. And so now Brian Kelly is now suing the university for the $54 million. He wants all of his money from what he was promised in the contract. He did not. So it was they offered $25 million, and then they offered in the $30 million area, and supposedly they said no, or he said no. And from what I've gathered by reading on the stories is the fact that it looks like that this is probably going to go to the courts. And it wouldn't surprise me if the governor starts getting involved here soon, because as well as I do, he was involved in the beginning whenever they were talking about getting the next coach. So how do you feel about this? This is chartered territory we've never been before.
Okay, you haven't heard the latest news then?
I guess not.
Yeah. So what he's saying is that they did not. Okay, he said that LSU fired him without cause.
Without cause, right.
And now the LSU is saying, we never fired him.
Right.
We never officially fired him.
Yes.
We are now firing him with cause.
Right.
Because of the wording in his contract that would default him from getting his full amount. And that's the reason why they're saying with cause.
Do we know what the with cause is? Bayou Billy's going to give it to us right now.
I'm not liable
for the words that are
about to come out of my mouth. It's all hearsay, Your Honor.
Okay.
But supposedly it has something to do with him and his wife getting a divorce and another girl involved in this whole situation.
Okay, so there's a possibility of a cheating scandal going on with Brian Kelly.
That's more than 2 years old.
at home, right?
In Louisiana.
Okay.
While he was there as head coach.
Okay.
Infidelity, because he was still married.
Okay.
And that's in his contract. It's a moral clause, I guess, or principle or something like that. Moral principle.
So he did get a divorce, though, while he was there.
He did get a divorce while he was there. And, this is all hearsay, though. I'm not sure if I believe it. I don't know.
That's
and it's
crazy.
Oh, it's crazy. Not only that, because what happened to Coach O?
Oh, that happened to him too. He did the same thing. Now, they didn't fire him over that though. Or did they?
What's that?
Did they fire him because of that, or did they?
No, they did not. No, he got the full payout, and that's the problem. That's one principle. Another thing that's working against LSU is the guy basically who was involved with the firing and everything with Scott Woodward, Guess what happened to him? He got fired. So now you got testimony from a Scott Woodward that's basically going to say something that I don't think LSU is going to be happy with.
Yeah.
Because you know how disgruntled workers are.
And then the way the governor kind of attacked him and came against him and they fired him. So now you've got two government employees or state employees based off of Woodward and Kelly. And the coup could start happening with them two. And then LSU is going to be sent holding the bag.
Yeah.
So that's why I believe the governor's probably going to get involved in this. And this is going to be outside of the realm of football. And this is probably not going to end well for the next guy coming in. So, it's going to get bad.
So the new joke now is...
here we go.
Here we go again. Joke number 3.
Joke number 3 for the day.
Todd Graves, LSU graduate. He owns Raising Cane's Chicken Fingers.
Yep.
We're not promoting their food. But there's a joke that his buyout's going to be a Caniac combo once every month for so many years. And that's going to be his buyout.
The first one you said was way better than that. You built it up a little bit too big.
Yeah, maybe it was. But Todd Graves he's actually the richest person in Louisiana. He passed up Gail Benson, who owns the Saints and the Pelicans.
Yeah.
That's mad money.
That's a lot of chicken strips. You know what I mean? That's a bunch. That's a bunch of chicken. Have you ever? I mean, I like them. Do you like them?
I do like them. There's a lot of knockoffs, but in my opinion, I believe actually he's a knockoff of Zaxby's because Zaxby's was first in North Carolina, and I think Raising Cane's came behind that, and now we have Fusakli's.
Hey, okay, we're getting too many people that don't sponsor the show. Let's don't give everybody.
But they're all the same thing.
A little bit.
And some of them are better than others.
There's one on the beach, too, that's called something else by itself.
Yeah.
We need to go over there.
If you're getting them as a sponsor, I won't say anything more.
Well, if we get them as a sponsor, we're eating a lot of chicken strips.
Huey Magoo's is in Tallahassee and other places. So there's like a bunch of these different companies like that.
And everybody has their own signature sauce, but it's all the same.
It's pretty much all the same, yeah.
And, I mean, you've worked in Waffle House and restaurant business, so you probably know how to make that stuff.
Believe it or not, I believe it's 17 or 19 different ingredients, and I know the core of it. And there's some little special things like white pepper and black pepper that's in there, obviously. Yeah. Maybe even some paprika. But anyway.
Chris Multicante, he just, he texted in on the Facebook page about some of the other places in town that are better than Raising Cane's.
Yeah.
But I'm not mentioning those names. But if you want to see them, that's fine. You can go on Facebook and see them.
One of them, believe it or not, is here in town, and they are serving a choice of 2 different meals today to veterans for free.
Oh, wow. That's great.
Can you believe that?
Yeah.
That's good deal.
That's a good deal, but they need to sponsor the show, and then we can definitely push that really heavy for them and make a big-time profit in their business. So anyway.
And I love me some chicken. Fried chicken.
I wouldn't have never guessed it. So Bone Crusher, are you a chicken nugget guy or are you a chicken strip guy?
Chicken wing, good southern fried chicken too.
Bone-in chicken.
I'm all up in that. And we only get fried chicken around here either like at gas stations or drive-thrus, fast food. There's not that many options for some good.
Well, there is one place on the beach, again, it's one of those places that if you want us to. If you want to come on as a sponsor, that would be great because we would push that chicken and we would have Jeff eat chicken on the air, I believe.
There's two places I've had chicken dishes. One's on Navy Boulevard, not far from here, and then the other one is on Front Beach. But it's very few and far between. You get a really good chicken dish here.
Either way, I mean, that's how it goes. But, I mean, again, so many chicken places. If you're listening and you are a manager or an owner of one of these chicken places, we would love to talk to you and maybe get you on as a sponsor, because me and Jeff probably can eat our own weight and add the bone crusher as far as into chicken. So either way.
Don't play chicken.
We never knew. Wow. That's number 4.
Number 4.
All right. That was a little better than 3.
Pay for these.
Yeah, these are all free today. So either way, we're going to take our next break. And when we come back, we'll have Taylor Devers talking about this team down in Tallahassee. Either way, you're listening to the Sports Blitz with Paul Wilson at 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
Taking your hot takes, rants, and takedowns. Let's hear it on the Red 7T studio line. 850-215-6290. ESPN Northwest Florida. The Dan Patrick Show.
The Giants have a Jackson Dart issue. He's played in, 8 games? I think he's been in the concussion tent 4 different games. Now, I like how he plays, but I would love if he didn't take contact that he didn't need to take. Don't be afraid to slide.
It's the Dan Patrick Show, weekday mornings from 9 till 11. ESPN Northwest Florida.
Good afternoon. This is Joanna on ESPN Northwest Florida with your weather forecast on this Tuesday. Clear the rest of the day with a light breeze coming out of the north around 6 miles per hour and temps near 58. Tonight we will have clear skies and a wind speed of 3 miles per hour and be cool at 44. Sunny tomorrow and a high 69 with a light breeze. Sunshine Thursday with a temp of 73. This forecast is sponsored by Mid-South Lumber, the best little lumber yard in Panama City. Thank you for tuning into ESPN Northwest Florida. Rely on it.
CBC Construction is looking for a few good men. At CBC Construction, our greatest strength lies within our talented team. Join us and be a part of a dynamic company that values its people. We offer a tremendous opportunity to create a future for your family and the Florida Panhandle. CBC Construction is now hiring. Call us at 850-740-3815 or visit cbcconstruction.com to learn more. CBC Construction. Be part of a winning team.
Hewitt Tire and Auto has been in business in Panama City forever. Locals taking care of locals. From the smallest to the largest vehicles, they do it all. But don't take my word for it. Listen to the experts.
Hewitt Tire and Auto, your certified AAA service center and hometown towing.
Visit them online at HewittTire.com.
On Airport Road in Panama City.
850-769-7323. Hewitt Tire and Auto Center and hometown towing.
You found us inside the CBC Construction Studios. His major in college.
We're going streaking through the quad!
LSU Jeff is part of the Sports Blitz with Paul Wilson.
Come on, everybody, we're going!
104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
Here we go!
Welcome back. You're listening to the Sports Blitz with Paul Wilson here at 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida. We're here live and local in the CBC Construction Studios right here in beautiful Panama City Beach, Florida. You can call in, you can text in on the Red 7T's phone line, 850-215-6290. We are on a Tuesday, so you know what that means. Taco Tuesday, right? Nope, it is chicken tender talk on Tuesday. That's what we've been talking about. Chicken radio. Either way, we've got Taylor Devers on the line from Norvell Central Chop Chat. Taylor, good to have you today. So, Taylor, don't name the restaurants, but are you a chicken tender guy, or are you a chicken nugget guy, or are you a good old-fashioned bone-in wing guy?
Anything that I can get my hands on. You know what? Let's just go ahead and have this central show as just a chicken show today, because whatever Florida State's putting on the field right now is it's like a certain restaurant without sauce. It can't be done. And I think that's where Florida State is at the moment. And I just think that's what chicken does if it doesn't have its counterpart.
we've got to talk about it. And the fact of the matter is we thought, okay, get out of the losing streak. Now we got a winning streak going. And then they show up and play. Well, they didn't show up. They showed up in only being there and just did not look good at all. We talked about a few things on last Tuesday about what they needed to do, and it just seems like they took what we said and did the opposite. And that was with Tommy Castellanos, 43 attempts. Now, you've said it all year, what the magic number is. 43 attempts is not Florida State winning football.
Yeah, it's very concerning because you had 43 pass attempts, but then on top of it, your best rusher, that wasn't Thomas Castellanos, had 6 carries for 28 yards.
Yep.
As a Gus Malzahn offense, you had 26 carries for 110 yards, and while 110 yards is better than what you've had the last couple of years against Clemson, you literally ran the ball with Sam Singleton last game, and you had 14 carries for about 88 yards, and you had very good production. You turn around and you play Clemson, and your whole game plan just changed. And, yes, you had some critical drops by Randy Pittman and LaWayne McCoy and Mekhi Danzy. You had some critical drops on fourth down where you did not need to have it. And, yes, the team didn't play the way it needed to play.
Yeah.
But there were so many missed opportunities.
Yeah, and when again, you don't want Tommy Castellanos to lead you in rushing. You want him to have 40 or 50 yards, which is what he had, but he led the team in rushing. And that's the big problem. And you know how it is in any offense. Just about that's not winning. That's not a winning recipe for the team. But definitely the way Gus Malzahn's offenses are ran, you definitely know. All you got to do is look at the rushing yards for his games, whether or not you know if they win or lose.
Yeah, and I mean there was a guy with Deuce Robinson, talented wide receiver for Florida State. His dad played at Florida State. 6'6" guy, security blanket. He had 9 receptions for 124 yards. I mean, he's inching closer and closer to that 1,000-yard mark. And, yes, you can say the receivers in a Gus Malzahn offense is not fantastic, but he's kind of been the outlier with everything that's going on. And I really don't know as a junior if he's going to be back next year. It just looks like it's Deuce Robinson, it's a little bit of Mekhi Danzy, and then it just drops off. Randy Pittman has a couple of games here and there. He's very talented, but it just seems like that passing offense, when the running game's not going and you're getting behind the chains and penalties start happening, it sounds like I'm a broken record at this point because every single week that is the same theme. They are very inconsistent. You don't really know what you're going to get. It's just a lot of things that just keep happening to the team, and I don't know if they're going to ever get out of it.
Yeah, and that's the big problem because you have to run the football. It just because you're in the ACC doesn't mean that you can't not have equal plays. I mean, you got to be able to run the football in any type of college football that there is. You can't be one-dimensional, and then you've got to have a quarterback that is actually a pocket passer if that's what you're going to do. But gosh, it's just like failed attempt after failed attempt, and the question, was Clemson that good? I mean, Klubnik, he was 20 for 23, which is...
No, 27.
Was it 27?
Yeah.
20 for 27.
Which is good.
Which is good. I wouldn't say elite, and we've dogged him out all year, but I mean, he was respectable in the game. He made some good throws, and they made some, key catches that they needed to, but like, Clemson is not the Clemson of old. But they look way better on the field than Florida State.
No, and the thing that happens, and I know a lot of fans are upset, I know you can blame it on a lot of different things. I mean, they come out of the game, it's a 13-play, 75-yard drive, and my gosh, you've seen it from the Alabama game all the way till now. You're going to give up those big 10-plus play drives on the first drive of the game just to give a team confidence, just so they know, yeah, we're here playing Florida State. We know it's going to be multiple play drives. But the problem is after that first play drive and they went up 8-0, which I don't even know if the guy even scored on the 2-point conversion.
Yeah.
You end up having a situation there where Clemson ended up having like 320 total yards. for the rest of the game. I mean, they ended up, 200 and some change the rest of the game off of that. I mean, they converted on 2 of their 11 third downs for the rest of the game after that. It seems like they just went into autopilot mode because they knew Florida State couldn't score.
Well, I mean, they didn't want it enough. I mean, you're looking at Klubnik, okay, 1 TD, 0 interceptions. His rushing was god-awful. He ran 8 times for 1 yard, Klubnik did. His stats on his wide receivers look good. His running backs really were non-spectacular. So they just went into exactly what you said, cruise control. So here's the thing. Clemson doesn't turn over the ball the whole game. Was Florida State not trying to punch the ball out like Alabama was trying to do on LSU? Because they were successful at doing stuff like that. Florida State, I don't know if they just need to get more aggressive on defense and cause the turnovers to change this outcome of this game. Because let's look at it. 1 interception, 1 fumble for Florida State. That's the difference. This is a 14-point win. This game could have easily gone into overtime or been a lot closer, and I think it was just turnovers was the only difference, really. I mean, I know Klubnik, his QBR is good. He had good stats. The wide receivers had good stats, but they weren't running the ball very well.
No, they weren't elite at all, and that was the thing. It wasn't that Clemson was so good that they just took it from FSU. It was just the fact that FSU was that bad.
Yeah.
They really were, and the drops didn't help at all, but the inability to run the football has been their Achilles heel when they lose ball games, and that's what you do when you become one-dimensional with a transfer quarterback in that's just learned the system.
Yeah, it was really concerning at certain points, too, because Florida State was down 8-0 early in the second quarter. I mean, they basically got all the way down to about the 39, 40-yard line. They had a pretty good field position. They had 3 and out. Next thing you know, they tried to go for it on their own 40, and Randy Pittman drops an easy. I mean, I'm talking about he is wide open. There's nobody even in the area of him within 30 yards, and he drops the ball. And then next thing you know, on the second play out of that possession by Clemson, they have basically a double reverse pass. Klubnik should have been sacked by a defender. He just completely whiffs and misses him, doesn't even touch him. It's like it's two-hand touch football. And the next thing you know, Antonio Williams is down the sideline, and he's able to get over a defender and losses a defender in the end zone for a 34-yard touchdown, which is Klubnik's only touchdown of the game on a fluky double reverse pass. I just don't understand it. Don't get it.
And the fact of it all is that we can watch the game and we can see what's happening. And I'll just be honest with you, and this is not FSU hate day or anything like that, but it seems like there is no change to what they're doing. It's almost like we can go watch the game against Stanford. We can go watch the other losses that they've had, and you probably could be able to call a decent game plan against that offense.
Yeah, and it's very concerning because the projected depth chart comes out every week on Mondays, and Norvell speaks to the media right after on Mondays, and we'll kind of get into some of his quotes that he said a little bit later. But in terms of the projected depth chart compared to what happened against Clemson to this week against Virginia Tech, the only difference is a true freshman cornerback / safety is not on the depth chart because he's indefinitely suspended out of all team activity. The rest of the whole roster and the whole depth chart, instead of trying to change things up, doing something a little bit differently, they are keeping the same MO. They are still practicing early in the morning. They are not doing anything in the afternoon. They're not changing up any philosophy. It's business as usual. And I would understand that if you're 7-2, 8-2, 8-3, something like that. You are a 4-5 football team, and you are 1-5 in the ACC, and you have lost 5 of your last 6 games, and it seems like nothing has changed.
And it seems like that everything that they need to do, they're not doing. And then you gotta say, paying $800,000 to Tommy Castellanos this year is a definite lesson learned. You got the tale of two cities here with Miami and Florida State. Carson Beck has had his moments, but man, getting these transfers to come in, it's hit or miss. And I mean, really, Mateer's done well, but he was hurt. Then you've got Castellanos. No, the great game against Alabama. Then you got Carson Beck. The first 5-6 games look really good.
But Trinidad Chambliss.
Then you got Trinidad Chambliss, who has looked good every time. And so that's 1 out of the 4.
Mendoza's killing it.
Yeah.
I mean, that's not SEC, I know, but it's a transfer.
Yep. So, I mean, it
North Texas
makes
guy.
you wonder.
North Texas guy, he's a transfer too.
Mm-hmm.
Where did he transfer from?
From Northwest, I don't know, it was Washington State or somewhere like that.
Yeah. Okay. Well, he was a 0-star guy, never played in high school or nothing.
Absolutely
so, yeah,
nobody.
that's crazy. But, I mean, when you look at it, Taylor, it's got to, there has to be those moments where you have to do what every coach that's ever been involved in a losing season, which Norvell has, and that is go to the drawing board and figure it out. But let me ask you this. As far as it goes, I get it. Gus Malzahn, he kind of, it's hit or miss, right? I mean, we can say that now.
Yeah.
Is it time for Gus to go? I mean, because, you're giving up 24 points. You're not scoring points. You can't score against Stanford. Now you can't, you scored a bunch of points last weekend against Wake Forest. But this week you can't. So, what's your thoughts on that? Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Okay. I was just saying to the point of, is it time to move on from Gus? Because it seems it's hit or miss. It's not a consistency of good offensive plays.
It just is the offense. It is what it is. You're going to get what you're going to get with Gus Malzahn. It's time. It's the gimmicky offense. You don't really know what you're going to get from this roster. It's just all over the place right now.
Yeah, and that's the thing. When you bring in these guys that are supposed to do what they're supposed to do, and you pay them a lot of money, you kind of just get stuck. And I think that's where Florida State is. And we're going to talk about Malzahn. We'll talk about what he said at the podium. We'll talk about what Norvell said in the podium on the next half of the show. But I just, usually when you have the disconnect with offensive coordinators or with defensive coordinators, whichever one is starting to not do well, you start seeing firings happen. Look at what South Carolina did. They at least fired an offensive line coach. They just it shows a little bit whether it's a real, whether it's real or not. They at least are attempting to change stuff, because doing the same thing over and over and over again and getting the same result finds you not very good when it comes to your fans and then your online community.
Yeah, it's very disappointing. This is a Clemson team that has literally lost their last 6 Power 4 opponents leading into this game. Haven't even got a home win since Troy in early September. It just doesn't look right. It's a Clemson team that was beatable. This is probably the easiest Clemson team you're probably going to face in quite some time. Dabo's probably going to get back to where he was, or either he's going to move on to a different program. But it just seems like this was gettable. This was a gettable game. You saw the point spread. It was 2.5, 1.5, around that range, and you had a game that you needed to win, and you didn't do it.
Yeah, and now it's not even let's turn the season around. Now it's like, are we even going to make a bowl game? And that's where you don't know.
And this is the thing. We never would have thought we would be talking about firing Gus Malzahn this year after they posted 31 points on Bama in the first week, right?
Yeah, no.
Okay. This week is their last home game versus a Virginia Tech team who's fired their coach. They've been playing in spurts better than they were with that old coach that they had. But this is the last home game. If you don't score 17 or more points on offense, I think it's time to let Gus Malzahn go. Because you're if you go down to 4-6, you're not going to go to a bowl game at all. Because you got NC State, who's the most inconsistent team of all of college football, and then you got the Gators, who, let's be honest, what is every Seminole fan looking at right now? They just want to beat the Gators. I mean, because that's like their biggest want this year, because the season's not going the way you thought it would go. Well, actually, Taylor, I'll rewind. Before the season started, you were like, we might get 4 or 5 wins. That's probably what you're going to end up with. But then as soon as you beat Bama, you were like, wow,
maybe this team
we're this great team. We could win 9 or 10 games.
And everybody was that way.
Yeah.
Including me.
Yeah. I was convinced 31-17. You beat that team by 2 touchdowns.
And out-physicaled, out-rushed them, all of those things.
And then people were talking about, was the Alabama coach going to get fired? Heck no, because he's won 9 in a row now. I believe it's been 9 in a row. Huh?
Yeah, tale of 2 teams.
Oh, yeah. Totally different trajectories from that first game.
Direct opposites.
And guess what? They got to open against each other next year in Tuscaloosa.
Yeah, that's pretty tough.
It's a weird circumstance. I mean, you look at it, too, a lot of fans would have taken 7 or 8 wins. Not 7 wins with the 5 out of your last 6 losses. And it's just a big, cluster that you really didn't know was going to kind of take place here. And this has just been a big disaster of a just run for Florida State that they just have to get out of. And when you're in the same boat as Syracuse and Boston College, that is not a good thing.
No, and the thing is that there were people that were like, not so fast, my friend, Florida State, that was a fluke, that was a fluke, that was a fluke. And then everybody that, is supposed to be able to know what they're talking about with football is like, no, this Florida State team is legit. And Gus Malzahn has got these guys ready to go. And then, as we've seen, it is not looking good in Tallahassee. But either way, we're up against the break. We'll come back and talk more about this, and we're going to find out whether or not Taylor believes it's time for Norvell to go. You're listening to the Sports Blitz with Paul Wilson at 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
The Red 70s studio line is now open. 850-215-6290. 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida. It's the Rich Eisen Show.
I don't know who Zoo Kruger is.
I saw this yesterday.
But this sums it up. If you weren't with the Jets during the rebuild, don't be with us during the rebuild. All of those assets who rebuilt the team into just having to rebuild again because we didn't have this right or that right. Now is when it turns.
Yeah, sure. Why not?
The Rich Eisen Show. Weekdays 11 to 2. ESPN Northwest Florida.
Los Rancheros has been doing it right for 20 years. Los Rancheros brings a top-shelf dining experience to you with the opening of their beautiful new building. Watch all college and pro games on Los Rancheros' 14 large-screen TVs with great drink specials daily from 2 to 5 and during all the games. Los Rancheros, the place for live sports and great food on 23rd Street between Jenks and Harrison.
Strap in, Duval. The Jaguars are gearing up to face the Los Angeles Chargers Sunday, November 16th for our annual Salute to Service game. Join us as we honor and celebrate the brave men and women of our military all game long. Secure your seats now and be a part of the action by visiting jaguars.com/tickets or call 904-633-2000. Let's stand together, Duval.
Now, we're live and local inside the CBC Construction Studios. It's not the size of the dog in the fight. It's the size of the fight in the dog. Now, the Sports Blitz with Paul Wilson on ESPN Northwest Florida.
Welcome back. You're listening to the Sports Blitz with Paul Wilson here at 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida. Don't forget, Thursday night football, it's the Jets at the Patriots. Coverage starts at 6:30. Kickoff is at 7:15. And also, don't forget, you can call in, you can text in on the Red 70s phone line, 850-215-6290. You know, Jeff, when we talk about all of this, it's kind of par for the course this year. And when you look at the way the teams are now, we're in a college football society. We're in a college football world, if you would, that if your team doesn't win and you've been there for 1 or 2 years, they're already talking fire. And I get it. The grass is not always greener on the other side. It's not. But we're looking at a coach here that's been here for 6 years. And I was calling for it when they lost to Stanford. We had talked about Pitt. We had talked about, there's no way. I don't care if they play at 3 o'clock in the morning. They're not going to lose to Stanford. Stanford's horrible.
Yeah.
And they did. They went to California and lost to Stanford.
And you heard me the other day when I was talking about Auburn. Auburn never gave up, and that defense was so locked down. I mean, they were playing teams to 6 and 7 point losses that were ranked.
Yeah.
Florida State, they gave up. They lost to Virginia. We didn't know how good Virginia was.
Right.
And Virginia is good. Then they lost to Miami. We're like, oh, wow, Miami is Miami right now. What we know of, they're undefeated at the time. But the way that they played against Pitt was just god-awful. And then losing to Stanford and having minimal offense, they scored a field goal to make it a 7-point game late in the fourth quarter. And to make it a 7-point loss, and you only scored 13 on Stanford, that was awful. And then the way they killed Wake Forest, and then Wake Forest turns around and beats Virginia. This weekend was the most detrimental weekend of ACC football. And it's not just that Virginia and Louisville lost, who were in the running with Georgia Tech, right, as the top 3 teams, right? But UConn beat Duke.
Yeah. And
Duke was above average team, too.
Yeah, and we're going to talk about all that at the beginning of the break or at the top of the hour.
Yeah.
But, Taylor, when you think of this Mike Norvell coaching debacle, that's all I can call it. I mean, is it the money? Is it the money? Because there's no way a sane person that watches college football just as for fun can look at this team and say, yes, this team is going in the right direction.
Well, if you ask Mike Norvell that, he says, we've won championships here. We've been successful here. Our product has been good. And, yes, that 22 season and 23 season was pretty good. I mean, a 10-win season and a 13-win season. Very good product. But then you turn around and you have that 2-10 season, and I just don't understand why the administration is now wanting to have that comprehensive assessment at the end of the year. You saw the 2-10 season. You weren't really prepared for what was next. And while I'm not here throwing the pitchforks at somebody's job security, and I don't really want to go in that realm, but you also have to understand this is Florida State. You don't need to go 1-5 in conference when you're suing the conference and you're saying, oh, look at the SMU, the Virginias of the world, we're better than them. But in actuality, when you're looking at the conference standings, you're like, wow, we are 4 games worse than these teams, and we're making a lawsuit based off of that. It's just an embarrassing product, just a roller coaster ride of emotions, and I really don't know how Florida State's really going to manage through this.
And you look at it, when you've got, and we talked about this is one of those things that we talked about. What Jeff is talking about is an Auburn football team that is not quitting, that is still fighting, that is still playing hard, that are still trying to win and turn the ship without a leader necessarily. I know DJ Durkin is the guy right now, but in the scope of it all, what's the difference between Auburn's team and the difference between Florida State's team? And that is these guys have been recruited by Florida or by Auburn, and the people that Norvell has brought from the transfers, they're not so loyal to the university. And so I feel like the pride of playing for that Florida State banner is not in the hearts of these kids.
Can we finally stop having the discussion about New November with Castellanos? After the Wake Forest game, he made the title of New November, and we're going to get it right back, and we're going to get past the thing. I'm a very optimistic person when it comes to Florida State. I've always loved that university. I believe Garnet and Gold. I know that the expectations and the standards at Florida State, obviously this is not it. But can we please understand that we don't need to keep counting this team as we're just going to win out the rest of the year and go 7-5. They haven't won they haven't had a winning streak since the early part of the year, and if they didn't play Kent State and East Texas A&M, they probably weren't even going to be in that position anyway. This is a very inconsistent team, and the fact of the matter is they play hard for their coaches. I'm not saying these players don't play hard. I'm not even saying they give up. I just don't think this is a very consistent team.
And it's a reflection, though, to me, and I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but it is kind of the MO. It's a reflection of leadership. And if you look at Mike Norvell's records, it's proven he'll have a great year, and he has bad years. He'll have a really good year, and then he'll have bad years. And those bad years are what we remember the most because not only were they bad, but they were really bad. And that's what we're seeing. We're seeing another really bad year. You cannot lose to teams that they're losing to. Yes, they beat Alabama. That's great. That's a wonderful thing. But it's just like, gosh, if you do take those two really weak teams out of that, out of the schedule and look at who they've played and lost to, it's horrendous.
And that's a team that fired their coach. Kent State fired their coach. Yep. East Texas A&M wasn't even called East Texas A&M 2 years ago. It was Texas A&M Commerce. This is a school that's changed its name and has no name because nobody knew who East Texas A&M was.
Right. And that's the biggest part. And I just, with all of the coaching jobs, with all of the coaches that are out there, it makes me wonder if there's some other underlying issue. And the only thing that I can see is when I look at the message boards and when I see the people talking about it, it has to be the money. It has to be the money, because how in the world can you come out and say, hey, we're gonna evaluate after the season's over with. We still stand behind our coach. We're blah 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 blah. We found out with Brad Law that kids will not get their money if they leave during the year when the coach is fired. So that is off the table for most of those kids. They're not going anywhere because they haven't finished out all of their money hitting their bank account. So that whole thing about, oh, well, if you fire your coach, your kids are going to leave, that is not true. That's just not the part of the puzzle. Will there be a kid or two that'll leave? Yeah. Because they're probably getting promised more money somewhere else. Or they're trying to save their eligibility because they only played in 2 games because maybe they had an injury. Okay, fine. But that's off the table. You've got all of these fans. You're $6 to get into your football game. If you go this week, Thursday, to Bay High School or to Tommy Oliver Stadium beside Bay High School and watch Mosley play Lincoln at Tommy Oliver, you're going to pay more money to get into that game than you will Florida State's game against Wake Forest.
Oh, yeah.
I don't get it. There comes a point where you have to look at it, and I understand that the administration probably doesn't want to lose most of its high school recruits, and Florida State's in the top 15 in the 247 composite rankings right now. They're in a pretty decent spot recruiting-wise. But the problem is, that's not going to last. These guys are probably going to unstick to a lot of these things. You might be firing some assistant coaches, even if you don't fire Norvell. So realistically, they're looking at all these factors of these recruits staying around and doing what they have to do. But chances are, your offensive line is senior laden, as Mike Norvell has said in his press conference. You're going to probably have to go back to the well in the transfer portal again. Yeah. It just seems like there's so much missing pieces, and there's so much depth that you have to get. And yes, that 25 class has been tremendous for FSU this year. And my gosh, through the 2020 classes to the 2024 classes, they have had little to no production at all from any of those guys, and they haven't had many draft picks. It just seems like, yes, the 25 class is great and all, but what else do you have to show for it? And I think this is kind of where Florida State fans are at now.
And that's really what you've got to look at as the AD, as the president, as all the people that are in the building for the football program. They've got to look out for what's best for the team, for the university. And when you look at it, Mike Norvell is not what's best for this university. The test of time has played out to me, and that's just, to me, that's the bottom line. You've brought in new coordinators, didn't work. You brought in transfer portal guys, didn't work. You recruited well, but so did Billy Napier. So that's where you are. It doesn't take the best recruiter to win football games. It takes someone that can get players, but also has to be able to win the football games. And really, how much longer? How many more? Because as you see on the recruiting websites going on right now, you're seeing a lot of flips. You're seeing LSU's players getting flipped. You're starting to see Auburn's players getting flipped. And all of these places that are just dialing in, it's going to start seeing the flips coming, because if Mike Norvell is still the coach and they're still losing and things are still happening, kids aren't going to want to come there as much as they are. And if you get, now, Bone Crusher might want to zoom in on this one. If you get a Lane Kiffin going to the Florida Gators, that is going to be the biggest problem for Florida State's recruiting for the next 3 to 5 years. So they have to make some kind of deal where they can get somebody else in there, because if they don't, they'll lose the state for recruiting.
Yeah, I agree. Mario Cristobal has done a tremendous job recruiting. I am not saying he is even remotely close to an average coach. I think he is a terrible in-game management coach. I think that is part of his desires and basically his downfall of what Miami football is right now. But him recruiting, him bringing in talent, and him bringing in guys that are in the high school ranks, man, you can't beat that. And Florida State, if you have Lane Kiffin going to Florida plus Mario Cristobal going there, and you still have Norvell on staff, that's a big yikes. Florida State just lost a 3-star running back today who's from Fairburn, Georgia, and he's basically a borderline 4-star. He flips over from FIU, and he just visited Florida State recently, goes to Wisconsin the next week and sees them beat Washington. Wisconsin's a dumpster fire as it is, and they also have a 4-star running back commit in their class. Now he comes over and commits to Wisconsin, and now you're without a running back prospect. You know how Gus loves to run the ball, and this team loves to run the ball. It's a big miss, and it just looks like recruiting fails are just going to continue to happen.
And that's the deal. One thing that we talk about is you got good recruiters, and then you got good game planners, and you hope that you can get both. And I don't really know if Norvell's either. And I think that's the biggest problem, is the game plan, because he's kind of given it over to Gus. And we've talked about how that he let Gus, do this and do that. And then Gus gets asked about the job, and Gus says, I'm just here to coach offense. It doesn't sound like there's accountability in the building for these losses. And at the top of the hour, we'll talk about the podium. I want to hear what Gus had to say. I want to hear what Mike Norvell has to say, and then we can really start talking about the rest of the ACC and all of the stuff that happened over the weekend. So either way, we'll be right back. We're going to be taking our next break, but when we come back, we got some interesting stuff to talk about. You're listening to the Sports Blitz with Paul Wilson at 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
In the game. Call or text us now on the Red 7T studio line. 850-215-6290. Weather in the Panhandle never stops. Turn to 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
This is Joanna with your latest forecast.
Up to the minute weather reports all day long.
A chance of thunderstorms and moderate rain.
In-depth storm coverage.
Winter Storm Enzo.
And breaking weather as it happens.
Hurricane Helene.
ESPN Northwest Florida.
We do have a tropical storm warning.
Rely on it.
Good afternoon. This is Joanna on ESPN Northwest Florida with your weather forecast on this Tuesday. Clear the rest of the day with a light breeze coming out of the north around 6 miles per hour and temps near 58. Tonight we will have clear skies and a wind speed of 3 miles per hour and be cool at 44. Sunny tomorrow and a high 69 with a light breeze. Sunshine Thursday with a temp of 73. This forecast is sponsored by Mid-South Lumber, the best little lumber yard in Panama City. Thank you for tuning into ESPN Northwest Florida. Rely on it.
Got a scratch, dent, or a full-blown wreck? Bring it to Recommended Collision Center in Panama City. From small scratches to all-over paint jobs, from fender benders to major collisions, it's Recommended Collision Center. They work with all insurance companies and offer customer pay options too. A family-owned collision center that takes pride in top-quality repairs, friendly service, quick drop-offs, and a fast turnaround. So when life throws you a wreck, they'll help you get amended. Recommended Collision Center, 1329 Jinx Avenue, Panama City.
WGSX Lynn Haven, WPLQ Port St. John. Powered by Panama City Toyota, ESPN Northwest Florida.
Krispy Kreme introduces 9 new donut flavors, and some are gonna be permanent. Treat the whole family to the New York-style cheesecake, Biscoff cookie buttercream, the original glaze cake, or pumpkin spice donuts in a maple lace cinnamon spice, perfect for this time of year. Krispy Kreme offering more variety, more flavor, and more choices. 2 locations to serve you. In front of HCA Hospital, 23rd Street, Panama City, and the Ross Clark Circle at Dothan. Krispy Kreme donuts since 1937, where you get them hot.
Broadcasting from the CBC Construction Studios. When the sun sets on the Emerald Coast, the freaks come out and play.
Hi, I'm a recovering crackhead.
Hand me that shotgun. Get on your knees!
The Sports Blitz with Paul Wilson. 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
On a Tuesday, and we're right here. You're listening to the Sports Blitz with Paul Wilson at 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida. Don't forget, you can call in, you can text in on the Red 7T's phone line, 850-215-6290. Thank you so much for listening. We appreciate you being on with us today after 5 o'clock. We've got Jeffrey in the building. We've got Bone Crusher here, and we've got Taylor Devers on the phone from Chop Chat Norvell Central. And we've been talking a lot about this Florida State. We've been talking about how it just isn't looking right. And the thing is you don't have to be an NFL insider. You don't have to be a college football insider. You don't have to be a high school insider to see the debacle on offense. And that's really the problem. I mean, the defense has had its moments, but for the most part, the defense has played pretty good. Obviously, they've missed some big plays that they could have had, but not giving up huge amounts of points. But the offense's lack of ability to score has really been the problem. And we've heard from Gus Malzahn this week already. Taylor, what is Gus saying about all this?
It just comes to a point where Gus, at the very beginning of the year at Alabama, he even discussed it was a huge win that Florida State had. He talks about how they had so many playmakers, but this team wasn't a full, complement of itself yet. The offense hadn't gelled together, and it still remains true. They talk about these younger guys, like the 25 guys, like Kevin Sperry and Usman Kroma and Javen Boggs and guys like that are so productive. And, they still have confidence in Tommy. They still think that he is a good leadership piece, that he brings together the offense, and they have a lot of faith in him. But it doesn't seem like it when you're looking at the stats. I mean, it just seems like Gus understands that this offense can be productive. It has plays. It can be just that good potential that it can have. But it just comes to a point where you just have to be able to convert the simple plays. You can't beat yourself with the drops. And that was basically what he was alluding to in the press conference.
Yeah, but not being able to run the football, missing blocking assignments, not calling good plays, not being able to be not one-dimensional. Like, those are the things that you want to hear, and you're not hearing it. It's, we've got the players, we've got the studs, we've got the guys that can make the plays, we've got stars. Don't forget Alabama. Let's just keep bringing that back up. That's just what will help us sound better, is what I'm hearing.
But that was a surprise and trivial offense that nobody knew what was going to come at them. Yeah. So it was like, surprise. Well, now everybody's figured them out. So guess what? There's no surprise. There's no trivia anymore. So guess what you have to do to your offense? You have to change your signs. You have to change your formation. You have to add more plays or different plays. You have to have different play calling. Why not just let Norvell call second down every drive? No, seriously. I don't care. You got to do something. You got to throw a wrench into this, because guess what? Everybody knows what's about to happen. And you know what I'm going to call this game against Virginia Tech? This is a James Franklin Bowl, because whoever wins this, James Franklin might be your prize.
Wow. What do you think about that, Taylor?
It's crazy. And really, when you think about it, Virginia Tech seems like to have the inside track on James Franklin, just because they've already got the head coaching vacancy. You got that area that he recruits so well in. He's kind of looking for that fresh start, and I don't necessarily know if Florida State wants to venture out into that water with him, even though I think it would be a good thing if Florida State does decide to cut ties with Mike Norvell. But I just wonder if Florida State, the administration, the big-time boosters would actually allow this to happen, just because he doesn't necessarily have that quote-unquote Florida tie. And I think they kind of want something in that regard. I think he would be my first choice, and I know I've discussed that before, but I just wonder if they win this game, and maybe it kind of, I guess you could say, pulls the leash further for Mike Norvell to stay in Tallahassee. I wonder if that just opens the door up, like you said, with that Virginia Tech situation, that, man, they're really bad. They need to find some quick relief. James Franklin always knows how to win those 8-9 games. May not win the big one, but can get you to that sustainable level, and that's exactly what Virginia Tech needs.
He's definitely an upgrade to both colleges, both football teams, and you know what? He was respectable in the SEC with Vanderbilt. He didn't do what Clark Lee's done, but he was definitely respectable in the SEC. So you know that he can coach. And then you look at what he's done in the Big Ten. I mean, he was always number 3 there just the whole time. Well, you know what? What does number 3 mean? That means you win 9 to 10 games and you're going to a bowl game every year. And he made the playoffs last year. So there you go.
I think he beat LSU in a bowl game in Orlando one time.
Yeah, so I mean, you got that going for you. We're going to go to the Red 7T's phone line. We've got Arnold on the line. What's going on?
Hey, I just wanted to call and let you know something that I picked up on Saturday night, that I'm almost 70 years old, and my finite brain just can't get a wrap around this. But how long has it been a Florida State Clemson game didn't occupy space on a major network on Saturday night and college football when things is going wide open? They were on the ACC network. And if you didn't have it, you couldn't see it.
Well,
that lets you know how bad that is.
When I look on the scores, I go to ESPN.com. I'm online, right? I click on scores. What does it give me? Top 25. Well, neither one of these teams are in the top 25. So I got to go click on ACC. I got to go search for the game, the score. That's awful.
Yeah, that's how bad it's become, and both programs are right there. Now, if Sweeney had been losing like Norvell, he would already be gone with Clemson. I'll tell you that right now. But thank you for the call. I agree with you. That's 100% correct. If you look at that, it's not the game of it wasn't a game of the night. If you would have told me that Florida State Clemson, after the Alabama game in the beginning of the year, I'd have said that game is going to be on prime time. They'll probably have game day there. It's going to be a show going on. Even Clemson losing their first weekend, it didn't matter.
Who was Penn State playing this weekend? Was it
Indiana?
So that was another possible game. But of course, Penn State's not around like they were before.
Yeah.
Those are easily the top three games of the whole weekend.
Yeah, you're right. So let me read some of this off of Facebook. So if Lane Kiffin does not go to Florida, Paul Wilson has to wear a Miami shirt on the air for a full show.
Dolphins.
Deal.
Dolphins.
Just so you know, we'll sign that deal. Go ahead and put the handshake in.
Wow.
Cha-ching. I'll do it.
Wait, is this a green shirt or orange shirt?
It's got to be green. It's definitely got to be green. But either way, I'll do it. And then this specific caller as well, maybe you should wear an Alabama shirt all day long on a Saturday. How about that? That'll be good. So we'll get that, and you'll have to take a picture and we put it on the ESPN Facebook page. Deal. So, Taylor, when you look at it, what did Mike Norvell say at the podium after the game?
Okay, so here is, he starts off, it says, congratulating Clemson, doing everything he can. Dabo's got a great team. We all understand his lingo at the end of the game. And we've seen too many of these losses, and he congratulates the other team. I want to see him like cold-blooded. This team sucks. Let's go ahead and go about our day. They don't deserve to win. Dabo still sucks. I just want one of those, but it's not going to happen. But he made some interesting points, and I never really thought that he was going to get to this point. Because Florida State fans, as we know, they want Norvell out of here. They do. He basically says, they have elite expectations, and they're going to win a championship in the near future. A championship. Not this is a team that can't even win more than one ACC game, and we're talking about a championship in the near future. Even if you're talking about a ACC championship, I mean, we are a long way away from that right now. It seems like minor, and it just looks like he talks about hoisting the trophy, and we've won championships except for where we've been, except for that 1 year at Pitt that I was there. There was just a lot of confusing ties there because, yes, Florida State's been successful. He's hoisted an ACC championship, should have even went to the playoffs and won a national championship potentially. And now you're at this point in 2025 where you've lost 5 out of your last 6. And you're talking about you're going to win a championship here in the near future. It's very confusing to me. I don't understand it. I thought this was a comment that probably shouldn't have been said. But what's even more weird is it's coming from a coach that you really don't know where he's going to be at next year.
Well, I'll tell you this. You lose to Florida, and they better have his bags packed. Because if I was the president, we'd have to figure it out. I'd be calling my boosters. I'd be calling my alumni. I'd be calling the Bobby Bowden Trust Fund. And I'd be figuring a way to get this buyout done before all of this legal jargon starts happening with Brian Kelly. Because if you don't get this done and get him to agree, you might have the same situation. I hope this is not going to be the precedent going forward with these coaches with the buyouts. But either way, there has to be something done because you've got a Virginia Tech team that has been bipolar. They've won and they've lost. They've won and they lost. So you really don't know what you're going to get. But they're also playing a team in Florida State that's the same way. And this game is it in Blacksburg or is it in Tallahassee?
It's in Tallahassee.
Well,
last one.
But it doesn't matter. Home field advantage in Tallahassee, we're going to look it up. We're going to find out how much the tickets are. But who's going to go? Because $6, it's not enough. I don't care if everybody in the whole building takes their shirt off and does the little wave that they were doing. And there's not going to be enough people there to make a noise that's even going to mimic the high school football games that's going to be going on with the playoffs this weekend.
Yeah, I will say this. I will be in attendance. And I will also say this, too, that Florida State is 4-2 at home this year. So give it how it is. They don't win road games. So let's make that abundantly clear. They don't win road games at all. So it is glad to see that Florida State does have a home game this week. The other problem is their 2 road games at the end of the year are not going to be great either because they can't win road games. It just looks like I don't know what to see from Tallahassee. Luckily, it is a night game, so maybe there's going to be some fans and some energy there. And I'm glad that it's not a noon game. I kind of wished it was, so that way I can get my day over with this, because it just seems like you're taking NyQuil and you're just going to bed after this.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Taylor, I'm going to anoint you athletic director for a few minutes.
Yeah.
Okay, you beat Virginia Tech. You somehow beat NC State, and then you lose to the Gators, and you're 6-6 going to a bowl. That's... I'm not saying that's a dream, but that's a possibility. It's a wild possibility. Do you fire Norvell?
Yes. In that sense, I just don't see where you have enough in the tank. Now, if you run the table, and I've already discussed the whole running the table idea, it's going to be hard enough as it is. I will actually be at NC State next week, so I'm actually going to go take a road trip over there in Raleigh. It's not going to be a fun experience. I already bought the tickets a couple weeks ago before this kind of disaster already happened. So now I have to just sit in my own sorrow as I go down there. I hope I can have a little bit of good news there, but just it's a lot going on, and if it looks as a 6-6 team, you're really not even 6-6. You're 4-6. You know, you beat Kent State and East Texas A&M. We've already discussed the two easier opponents that you had on the schedule. The Alabama game was a great win, and it's going to be a blister in Alabama's side for the rest of the year, especially if they lose another game. Then you're going to look at some other things, and God forbid they have 3 losses. It just seems like at 6-6, what are you doing? What are we doing here?
Well, I know what we're not doing. We're not talking any of that stuff into existence. That's what we're not doing here for this Alabama deal that you just spoke on. So we're just going to move right on past that deal. But what we are going to talk about is the fact that if you realize this, you realize that if Florida State beats North Carolina State and Miami wins, with a little bit of help in the other games, Miami might sneak right back into the conversation of the ACC championship. And if that's the case, then Miami fans are going to turn into Florida State fans, and we're going to have a family affair going on here. And then it won't matter what happens at Florida, because if you beat North Carolina State and you beat Virginia Tech, then, hey, that's going to be a big help for Miami.
Yeah, and I mean, you got to think, in the last 11 meetings that they played at NC State, they've only won 2 of them. So, I mean, you're 2-9 in road games against NC State. I mean, at home you play better, but you have struggled tremendously at that place. So even to pencil in a win at this point is just crazy. And I understand you're playing in Tallahassee this weekend. You're not playing in Blacksburg. I'm not even saying that stadium is great. I know Inter Sandman is a fantastic tradition that everyone wants to keep in college football. But at the same time, I don't know what Florida State fans are even going to show up in the game. I know I'm going to be there. I know that, you know, we might have to have a couple of free beers and free hot dogs and stuff like that to get fans to come to the game. It's kind of that time in Tallahassee right now. But I just wonder what team is going to show up, because if it's anything like the last 5 out of the 6 games, good luck.
Well, Chris Mutzacante said on Facebook that he would wear a Florida State shirt if they do end up getting in the ACC championship due to Florida State beating North Carolina State. So that would have to happen. But either way, if you look at it, it doesn't matter what these next 2 games are going to be. If they lose to Florida, he's out, no doubt.
So Louisville has lost 2 games at home, and their next 2 opponents are Clemson at home, and then they have to play at SMU. So the Kentucky game, we're not even going to talk about it because that's out of conference, so it doesn't matter. So Louisville dropping a game is very real, but Virginia is the one that they need to lose in order for Miami to sneak back in, because they only have 1 conference loss.
Right, even though they've lost twice in the conference.
Yes, because the NC State game is not considered an ACC in-conference game to some kind of agreement that they had that it was out of conference game, which is crazy. And I understand it's weird, but it is. It's the fact. So Virginia has a better record right now, and I'm not sure who the tiebreaker goes between Virginia and Miami because they didn't play each other.
Yeah, and the only thing you would hope is that Georgia Tech, if you're a Miami fan, you're hoping for Georgia Tech to lose again. And
well, no, they're just going to be the other team in the conference championship. Somebody got to lose other than Louisville. Yeah, somebody. It's got to be Virginia or Georgia Tech, one of the 2. So, I mean, we had high hopes, and then this weekend just crushed all of our dreams.
Crushed it
as far as the ACC getting 2 teams in.
Yeah, is there a path for 2 teams? Because Virginia has 2 losses, right?
Yes.
And
Louisville has 2. And Miami has 2.
So the only way that I could say that there's a possibility is if Georgia Tech beats Georgia, gets in, and loses to the ACC champion, whoever that would be.
So it's basically the same scenario as last year. Clemson, with 2 out-of-conference losses, went to the conference championship and beat a SMU team who was 11-1.
Right.
So that's exactly a duplicate of what happened last year.
Yeah, so if that happens, then that's the only possible way. But that's it, though. There's no other 2 teams.
The margin is this small, and before it was like a gaping hole where we were saying there's 2 ACC teams in.
Hey, Taylor, how do you feel about this? We've talked about this a little bit in the other shows, and I'd like to hear what you think about this. Because of the way everything is starting to be set up now, and having to play that extra game in the conference championships, do you feel like, because I'll tell you how I feel, when that conference championship, it kind of is not very good for your team. You're hoping maybe that the other 2 guys can get in there even so that you can sit out and not have to play that extra game. But if you did have to play, how do you feel about sitting out your players knowing that you're already included into the college football playoff? Because you know as well as I do, you lose your quarterback, Jordan Travis, you could possibly be, to your detriment in the playoff, but without your starting quarterback. Could be your starting running back, could be your starting corner, your shutdown corner, your wide receiver, somebody huge for your team. Are we going to see any of that this year, or do you think that's something that's going to happen in the future?
Yeah, and I actually think there's going to be more in the future of, and this is even a step further than that. I think there might even be a situation where people are sitting out for playoff games and kind of resting and doing their own thing there. I mean, you talk about opting out for bowl games, and I'm going to sound like an old man, and I'm going to sound like the get off my lawn type of guy there. And, everything needs to go back to the old days. But this is the reality of college sports, and I hate to say it, but even when Pittsburgh's head coach Narduzzi was talking earlier, he talked about the game this weekend against Notre Dame. He's like, I don't even care if we lose by 100 points in this game. We have Georgia Tech and we have Miami in the next 2 weeks after that. It's important for us to win those games and be able to have that. Now, Pittsburgh finds a way to beat Georgia Tech and Miami, and they kind of screw around the ACC, and let's say, a Louisville's just sitting there in the background, and they have 2 losses, and they don't even have to play for the ACC championship. You're pretty much just telling Louisville, hey, here's a free ride. You don't even have to play the ACC championship. Well, let's go ahead and have Pittsburgh play Georgia Tech, Miami, and then maybe a Virginia team at the end of the year to have a triple gauntlet there and have to go through all that adversity, might even miss out of the playoffs, and you're having Louisville to do that. It's just a weird circumstance.
It is, and when you look at it, it's going to have to, something's going to happen in that regard, because the conference championships used to matter. They did. They used to matter. When you used to say you were SEC champs, you were ACC champs, it mattered. Now it doesn't. And yes, you'll get a ring. Yes, you'll get your name on a bulletin board or a plaque or whatever, and they'll hang the banner at the stadium. That's fine. But if you don't win a national title, that's what the kids want. It's just like, it's just like collecting cards. They don't care what the card looks like. Is it worth money? And the playoff is where the money's at.
Yeah, and I know Alabama and Georgia have switched off on this, where Georgia will win in the regular season and Bama will win the SEC championship. Or Bama wins the SEC championship and Georgia wins the national title.
Yeah.
So it's been kind of a trade-off. Now, the ACC championship is probably, it's a good chance that winner is in, loser is out. The Big 12 championship, same deal.
Yes.
Indiana and Ohio State, we'll assume they go undefeated and all that. There's a possibility they could sit or whatever, just hope that it's not a train wreck and it just gets, somebody gets steamrolled. But let me tell you which team cannot afford to sit their people. You want to see your eyes bug out? It's Alabama.
Yep.
Completely, 100%, because they have one loss, and let's say Bama, Georgia, and Texas A&M all win out for the regular season, right? Bama's in the SEC championship with A&M. A&M don't care. They're undefeated. But let me tell you what's at stake for Alabama. You're not going to get the first round bye. you're going to be back between 5 and 9 ranking, and you're going to have that home field first round, so you're not getting a week off. So if you sit your guys, essentially, are you getting a week off? It's just a different week off.
That's right. That's a good point.
Yeah. So Bama is the perfect example of who cannot sit their people.
And why is that? It's because they've already lost their one game.
Yes.
And that's why.
You got it. And Georgia's lost their one game, but it was a conference one against Bama.
So they don't have to play in the conference championship.
But you know Bama's not going to throw a game versus Auburn just to stay out of the SEC championship.
No.
There's no. That's never happening, because you know what happened last year? Ohio State lost to Michigan, and trust me, they wanted to beat Michigan because they hate them.
Yeah.
It's bragging rights.
It is bragging rights.
Yeah.
But either way, we got to take our break, and when we come back, we'll talk a little bit more of this, and we've got a little surprise for people to hear about what Jeff thinks about the AP poll. You're listening to the Sports Blitz with Paul Wilson at 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
Reach out and smash someone. Call or text now. 850-215-6290. The Red 17 studio line. Keep the game going with ESPN Northwest Florida. Just because you get out of the car doesn't mean the Sports Talk and Live play-by-play have to end. Just say, hey, Alexa, open ESPN Northwest Florida. From Michigan Avenue to the man cave, from the car to the kitchen, we've got you covered. Keep the game going. Hey, Alexa, open ESPN Northwest Florida.
Good evening. This is Joanna with your weather forecast from ESPN Northwest Florida on this Tuesday. Clear tonight with a wind at 5 miles per hour coming out of the south and a low of 50. Tomorrow morning, look for a very light wind and sunshine with a temperature near 65. The afternoon and evening, a high around 68 and clear skies. Thursday, very warm with a high of 73 and sunshine. This weather forecast is brought to you by Earthworks of Northwest Florida. Thank you for keeping that dial on ESPN Northwest Florida. Rely on it.
It's the end of the year and the perfect time to unwrap big savings on a brand new 2025 Kia from Bill Bird Kia. Ready for adventure? Well, drive into the holidays in an award-winning Kia SUV line like the Soul, Seltos, Sportage, Sorento, or the bold Telluride. If you want luxury and performance, slide into the sleek 2025 Kia K4 or K5 sedan, always designed to thrill. And going electric this year, spark inspiration with the all-electric 2025 EV6 long-range, fast-charging, and electrifying style. At Bill Bird Kia, you'll get comfort, safety, and technology, all wrapped into one perfect package. And don't forget, we're the original home of the 20-year, 200,000-mile warranty. Stop by and see us at 2435 East 15th Street in Panama City, or online anytime at BillBirdKiaPanamaCity.com. We'll treat you like family and give you the peace of mind you can trust. Bill Bird Kia, your local community dealer. Love your ride this holiday season. The 20-year, 200,000-mile warranty is a Bill Bird Kia warranty.
The Kings of the Swamp.
Ball's loose at the 38. Gators got it. Wow.
Join Sean Kelly and the rest of the broadcast team as they bring you Gator football all season long.
Quick race down the near sideline. 20, 15, 10, the 5. Touchdown, Gators.
On your home for Florida football, the Gator Sports Network from Learfield.
The Florida Gators play here. Listen to select games on 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
Transmitting from the CBC Construction Studio. Pound the like and crush the subscribe. The Sports Blitz with Paul Wilson is live on YouTube. 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
Welcome back. You're listening to the Sports Blitz with Paul Wilson here at 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida. We are live and local from the CBC Construction Studio. Don't forget Thursday night football. Jets at Patriots coverage starts at 6:30. Kickoffs at 7:15. You know, when we talk about all of this stuff, and we do have Chop Chat, Taylor Devers, Norvell Central, may have to change that name later, on the line with us. When we talk about it, Jeff, we do have some craziness going on in the ACC, specifically last week, Louisville and Virginia You watched both of those games. You saw it. What happened with Louisville?
Well, Louisville, Cal's not a bad team. Okay, let's just.
I disagree. I think they're not very good. I don't. I just don't. I hear people saying, "Oh, well, Cal's pretty good." No, they're not. They're not a good football team. Can they win a game here or there? Yes. You have to do something wrong for Cal to beat you if you're a good football team.
Or maybe you just don't do enough things right. They have a good defense. And that's the problem, is that you're not seeing sparks from offense. You're seeing a defense that can keep them in the game. And, Louisville was hanging out, trying to come back, and they only scored a field goal in the fourth quarter to push it into overtime. Louisville was non-spectacular. They didn't turn over the ball. I mean, it wasn't like turnovers cost them game. Because if you look over Virginia versus Wake Forest, they fumbled 3 times. They lost the ball 3 times to the other team. Virginia gave Wake Forest that game. Where Louisville, I don't see the excuse. They had the running back, the backup running back, who's now, I guess, maybe has a starting job now. He ran crazy for Louisville. I mean, where's the excuse? Miller Moss, your stats are, average for this game. He's been doing really well this season. I mean, you pushed it into overtime and you couldn't even finish the deal.
And that's what I'm saying. They gave. I know you said, okay, what Virginia did was hand them the game.
Yes,
but
Louisville didn't do that.
They didn't necessarily hand it to them, but they didn't play the standard by which they've been playing those. So they kind of did. They just did it in a different way.
Yeah.
So when you look at Louisville and you look at Cal, you can't tell me that Cal is on the same spectrum as Louisville to even be able to beat them.
Well, it's sad that when you're talking about a possible second best team in the conference. Right.
Right.
And let's say Cal's like 7th or 8th best in the conference, which is a good possibility. You got to win at home.
Yeah.
Louisville lost at home.
Yeah, to Cal.
In overtime.
And they were on the other side of the country, Taylor. So they were, I bet you okay, Taylor, we'll have to look it up, but I will bet you a Coca-Cola, a cold one, that Cal practiced at night. I guarantee it. Or something. They practiced whatever time they were going to be playing against Louisville.
But sad part is Cal didn't score in the fourth quarter. It was 3-0 in the fourth quarter for Louisville to put that in overtime. I mean, you didn't. You had your chance. You had 15 minutes of game time in the fourth quarter to do something, and all you got is 3 points to nothing.
Yeah.
I mean.
And Cal, again, say what you want.
Who's better, Cal or Stanford?
Cal.
Yeah.
But Stanford's so bad when you look at them, to me.
Yeah.
And when you watch them, it's like they have to play up against their opponent, and the opponent has to play terrible to win. And Cal is pretty much in that same conversation.
Who would have thought we would have SMU in the playoffs one year, and then we're talking about Cal being a good team the second year in the ACC?
I'm not talking about Cal being a good team.
I'm not either.
But you know what? Louisville, it's basketball season, and Louisville was focusing on playing Kentucky.
Tonight.
Yeah.
No cards.
So that's what they're going to do. That's what they were worried about. They were so busy worrying about basketball that they forgot they still got football. So I don't know. But we got to get Coach Brom on here, and we got to figure this out because they got to go better than what they've been doing. Because losing to Cal's not a football school. They're not a basketball school. They're not a baseball school. I think they might have a good women's softball team.
Yeah, gymnastics. Something like that.
But Cal football, that's why I'm saying, you know what, guys? They're not decent. They're not good. They're not.
They're known for their band going on the field and ruining Stanford's.
I'll tell you this: the only thing I know about Cal is that Marshawn Lynch stole the little golf cart and drove it on the field during their.
Aaron Rodgers went there.
Yeah. There you go.
That's
so
it.
Either way, Taylor, sorry about that. We went on a little bit of a rampage talking about. Do you believe that Cal's a decent team?
I think they are a decent team. I'm not necessarily saying they are the powerhouse of the ACC, obviously. I think their quarterback is pretty solid. I think he has moments, but he is a freshman. So give or take what it is, I know you had mentioned earlier about basketball. I know Florida State's playing Florida tonight in basketball.
Whoa.
So hopefully we're able to get a win there, but it is on the road at 7 o'clock.
There you
we
go.
will see how that goes.
Yeah, that one's going to be a good one.
Crazy.
Who's the new coach there at Florida State?
Luke Laux. He actually played at Florida State. He was their starting point guard.
There we go.
There we go. All right. So let's talk about this other ACC team, the U. Miami. Are we going to finally see Carson Beck come out of the funk? Is he going to finally put it together this weekend and put the U back to where they go? Because they've got North Carolina State.
Yeah.
They host North Carolina State. North Carolina State plays like a great team at times, but then they can play the worst at times. So what Miami team are we expecting this weekend? Jeffrey, I'll let you go first. What do you think?
I don't know. I'm more worried about NC State.
You think it's more of what NC State does?
I don't even think they have signs to, like, flash in so nobody can steal their signs. I mean, because you never know which team's going to show up. They beat Virginia this year.
Yeah.
This is a team that's a complete wild card that loves ruining people's birthday parties. And they're going to go to Miami, and who knows who you're going to get. It's like Jekyll and
Hyde.
Jekyll and Hyde.
Taylor, what do you think about, Miami? I know that you're not a big fan of Miami, but what do you think about them? Do you think they got a shot at getting in this ACC championship on the wild card?
I think they do have an outside shot, and I know a lot of people were talking and kind of discrediting them after they had that huge, embarrassing loss that they had, but in reality, they still have a fighting chance. This isn't like you're having the Clemsons and the Florida States of the world in the front of the conference. You have your Virginias and your Pitts, and even your Louisvilles are stuck over there with 2 losses. It just seems like this is an opportunity where Miami, if they keep winning out and those teams just kind of keep hanging around and not really doing what they're supposed to do. Carson Beck's not a great quarterback. I mean, he's got 15 touchdowns, 9 interceptions, and he's thrown in triple coverage a couple of times where it's cost him. They run the ball very, very well. There's a lot of great things that they do, but as you said, that NC State team is like just very bipolar. You really don't know what you're going to get. C.J. Bailey's a very talented quarterback. He could be a very good quarterback, a top 5 quarterback in the conference, and then you see one week he's going to be the bottom 5 of the conference. You just really don't know what you're going to get, and it looks like that Miami team is destined to have a 10-2 season. But as we know, with Cristobal's win percentage after the month of November, it's really a new November for them because he is 28.9% in his coaching career at Miami when it's November or later in the season.
Wow. Yeah. Oh, man, that's going to be the key because I believe this. I believe that Miami can sneak into the playoff. I don't necessarily know if they're going to make it in the ACC. I think there's a chance that Miami can get into the playoff, but it's just going to depend on come Thursday what the college football playoff committee kind of gets them at. You need to start trending up now, and I'm not acting like I'm some, smart guy, but you have to start getting the number high, the number lower and lower and lower, and you're hoping to start seeing some of these teams start to fall off and drag, and you need a upset or two to start happening in front of you, but it's just like Al Davis used to say for Miami, you got to just win, baby, because if you can just put the wins together with a Pitt team that could possibly upset Notre Dame, and if they don't, that's fine, but if Pitt upsets Notre Dame and then you beat Pitt, then Miami's going to be looking actually pretty good as far as the playoff committee's eyes because they've ranked Notre Dame so high. So a loss to Notre Dame and a win by Pitt is definitely something that could really shake it up for Miami as long as, wait for it, they keep winning, in which 28% in the month of November, that's going to be the wild card. Can Cristobal get these guys up? Can Beck play, not necessarily go out and win you the football game, but can he not throw interceptions? Can he not miss people wide open? Can he not throw into triple coverage? Can he look like the Carson Beck for the first 5 games where he was really confident and he was really spinning the football?
I just wonder with Virginia Tech, because they play them right after NC State on the road, I think Florida State's going to give them a run for their money this weekend. I don't really think Florida State's going to have too many problems with this Virginia Tech team. Now, the NC State team is going to be a whole different ballgame the next week on the road. But, I mean, Miami and Florida State schedules are basically flip-flop. They play NC State and Virginia Tech, and we do the same, just the opposite direction. So it's a weird circumstance here right now in the state of Florida because realistically you have Florida just dying for a new head coach. You have Miami is just kind of on the edge looking outside of the playoff right now. You're hoping that they can get some kind of postseason success because they've just been irrelevant the last 20 years. But they've had a couple of good seasons the last couple of years to build upon. But now you're wanting to see that 28.9% to go up and get into that upper 70, upper 80 range for Mario Cristobal because he is a good recruiter. He invests a lot of time into getting that player acquisition. And now you're seeing the product coming out with Carson Beck. Can he be able to deliver in the last couple of games? Because you're not going to pay him all this money if he's not going to be able to perform in these last 3 games. It's not like we're asking him to go out there and play Alabama, LSU, and some other teams like that in the SEC. We're talking about NC State, Virginia Tech, and Pitt. Finish the job, see what happens, get in the top 12. Even if you don't even make the ACC championship, I think a 10-2 Miami team without an ACC championship could be a viable piece in the playoff.
Yeah, I do too. And the thing is that you talk about Cristobal, you talk about his ability to recruit, just, this week alone, you've got Penn State, LSU, and FSU, I think. No, Clemson, LSU, and Penn State. Chris was telling me here 3 flips on recruits that are coming to Miami now from those 3 schools. So there you go. We can't do any of this stuff without AutoNation Ford in Panama City. If you are in the market for a new vehicle, maybe you want a used vehicle. Either way, AutoNation Ford in Panama City is the place to go. 730 West 15th Street, right there by the railroad tracks in Panama City. Those vehicles are ready to go. If you get a used vehicle there, they put them through strenuous tests to check them, make sure they're good, and they will get you on the road and get them right. Also, it's starting to get cold. Maybe there might be ice on the road. If there is ice on the road and you accidentally hit a curb, Recommended Collision Center is the place to go. Now, with it being cold like it has been, you might have a problem with your heater, you might have a problem with your door handles, you might have a problem with your mirror, or maybe you've got that dent that you need to get fixed because you know what cold weather does to those dents. It turns it into rust. Go see those guys at Recommended Collision Center. Brandon and them are locally owned and operated. They'll get you taken care of, and they are on Jinx Avenue, right off 15th Street. So you can go see them. Recommended Collision Center. Those guys are top-notch. Quality work, insurance grade, everything's good over there, and they're wonderful guys. And if you mention the show, they'll give you a good deal, percentages off for sure. But when we come back, we got to talk about who is going. I don't know yet. We'll see. You're listening to the Sports Blitz with Paul Wilson at 104.3 ESPN, Northwest Florida.
Call or text in now on the Red 7T studio line. 850-215-6290. The new app from 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida is designed specifically for sports fanatics like you. The sports content you demand is always on. Live stream our national and local sports talk anywhere you go. Reach us on all social media. You can also be a part of the show. Call and text into our studios. Plus, up-to-the-minute weather and traffic maps. The new app from 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida is available at the Apple Store and Google Play.
Golf is a game that should be fun, but to have the most fun, you need to play your best. That's where the experts at Golf Plus come in. Their friendly staff will guide you through the buying process, answer all your questions, and can help with any repairs you need along the way. Golf Plus is your custom fitting, club repair, and golf retail shop. Golf Plus staff is non-commissioned and will work with you to find the best product for your game, just like they've been doing since 1988. Golf Plus in Panama City Beach. Fitting, repair, retail. That's Golf Plus. Golf is a game that should be fun, but to have the most fun, you need to play your best. That's where the experts at Golf Plus come in. Their friendly staff will guide you through the buying process, answer all your questions, and can help with any repairs you need along the way. Golf Plus is your custom fitting, club repair, and golf retail shop. Golf Plus staff is non-commissioned and will work with you to find the best product for your game, just like they've been doing since 1988. Golf Plus in Panama City Beach. Fitting, repair, retail. That's Golf Plus.
Full residential and commercial projects from start to finish, Wheelhouse is ready to help. From the moment you have the thought to build to the moment you step through the front door of your finished project, Wheelhouse Consulting and Engineering will walk you through all of your aspirations. Engineering, site plans, live architectural design, construction, 3D rendering, permits, and more. Wheelhouse Consulting and Engineering, 850-896-6597. That's 850-896-6597. And online at wheelhousedba.com.
Right now, over 300 kids in Northwest Florida are waiting for a mentor like you. Just a few hours a month can change a child's life and yours. It doesn't take much to be the difference. Become a big brother or big sister today. Call 850-433-KIDS or visit bethebig.org to learn more. Mentoring changes lives. Will you be the one to step up?
If you build it, they will come. We're live from the CBC Construction Studios. If you have a problem with our hot takes, call us and say it to our face.
10 years from now, I'll be making a difference in this world while you'll be sitting there getting your diaper changed by your nurse.
The Sports Blitz is on the air. 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
Welcome back. You're listening to the Sports Blitz with Paul Wilson at 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida. We are live and local here in the CBC Construction Studio right here in beautiful Panama City, even though it is cold today. But either way, you can call in, you can text in on the Red 7T's phone line, 850-215-6290. We've got Taylor Devers on the line. We've been talking a lot of Florida State football. And Taylor, when you look at what the AP put out, now we don't have a lot of confidence in the AP, but it is needed. It's something that is needed. It gives us an idea. And the College Football Playoff Committee wasn't very far off of what the AP put out. So you just wonder the second week of the AP whether or not it's going to match up or line up with the College Football Committee. How did you feel like the AP looked this week?
Realistically, I thought the Notre Dame thing at 9,
Yeah.
I don't know. It's a weird circumstance right now with Notre Dame because, yes, I mean, they had those 2 losses. They have a couple of decent wins, but
no, they won.
Yeah.
USC, that's it.
Yeah. It's a weird thing. I mean, I just don't really know what to think about them. Like, I like this Ole Miss team. I just wonder if they're going to be up to play Florida because, as we know, last year's Florida game with them didn't go the greatest in the world. And just so much controversy talk with Lane Kiffin is just out there. And we know about Indiana. We know about their miraculous wins they had against Penn State and things like that. It wasn't too surprising, but there was just a couple there that I just looked at and was like, okay, I don't really know about the Notre Dame thing. It just seems like they just keep getting higher and higher and higher. And I get the TV money. I understand they're a brand. I know they're without a conference, and that's a lot of the hearsay kind of things that's going on, and their schedule is not the greatest in the world. They're losing the bigger games. But Marcus Freeman's still a good coach, but I just don't know if that roster has enough in its place to be able to compete in the playoffs. And I think you're going to probably see a non-competitive game whenever it comes down to a bigger opponent that they're going to face.
Yeah, I agree with that. And, Jeff, I'll let you go next. But I just wanted to say about Notre Dame specifically, if you can take away their run game and make them one-dimensional and make C.J. Carr beat you, I think that's the key. Because Jordan Love's not Jordan Love, but Love. I forget what his name is. But Jeremiah Love, yes. He is a great back. He's a good back. He'll probably get drafted in the first round next year, possibly. He's a good back. And but that's what they depend on him to get those explosive plays, and they try to get him as many touches as possible. So, but I don't agree with them being there. Go ahead, Jeffrey.
So there was 3 comparisons I saw by different people, completely different people, and they're all complaining about the same thing, about Notre Dame. And the comparison was Miami, Oklahoma, and Louisville. Now, Louisville lost this last weekend, so that comparison fails. It's gone.
Yep.
You can just throw it away. But the Miami and the Oklahoma ones were just obvious. And Oklahoma is at, number 12 right now in the AP. So they're the second team out, believe it or not, because BYU at 11 is going to be out also because you have to move up the ACC winner, which is Georgia Tech, supposedly right now.
Right now, yeah.
And then the group of 5, if James Madison or South Florida hangs in and keeps on winning, they're going to get that other automatic bid at the 12. So right now we're looking at BYU and Oklahoma as being the 2 teams that are out.
Yeah.
Now Oklahoma's going to lose a game. You hear. You haven't even have to hear it first here because I think we kind of look at their schedule and we're kind of like, Oklahoma's not going to win out. They're not going to end up.
They've got to beat Alabama for sure.
Yeah, and I'm not saying that to beat LSU because it's not a tall task.
Right.
But BYU's got to play Texas Tech again. Chances are we're not going to have 2 Big 12 teams in there.
No chances at all. It ain't no chances are. It's no chance at all. If BYU beats Texas Tech's out. If Texas Tech beats BYU, obviously they're out.
Unless chaos reigns.
No.
Because we've seen it happen at the end of the years before.
No, get out of here with that.
I don't know. I do know. I mean, because you don't see another Big Ten team coming around other than Oregon and the top 2 teams.
Yeah, there's no way. Because a lot of people, I don't say a lot of people, some people are like, oh, USC. No, they're not. There are only 3 teams from the Big Ten, and there's going to be Texas Tech or BYU, and then you've got your ACC winner.
Yeah.
And if everything lines up like it looks like it's going to, and which everything could go crazy, don't get me wrong. There could be a lot of, if Texas upsets Georgia this weekend
and then lose to A&M,
and then lose to A&M, then what?
They're out. They're out,
and Georgia's possibly out. But if Georgia beats Georgia Tech, then they could be. See what I'm saying? So,
I see what you're saying.
But the wild card here is going to be Ole Miss. Ole Miss, as long as they just keep winning, they're in.
They're going to win. They have a weak schedule.
I will say, Multi-Conte did say this, and I think it's funny. I got to say it. What if Ole Miss loses to Florida at the end, and it's a collusion by Lane Kiffin because he's going to Florida?
No.
Come on.
That's what he's hoping. He loves chaos. He's like, all chaos except for the Hurricanes, which is kind of ironic because a hurricane is chaos.
Yeah, and it is chaos. So the fans have to be chaotic.
Oh, yes, they do.
So
they hope that bird just goes away.
That's right.
Was it Ibris, or was this called?
I have no idea.
Whatever that hurricane bird is.
Yeah, whatever that bird is. Yeah, he's flying, but a lot of times I see him with the Band-Aid on his face. That's the only thing I think of when I see that eagle or whatever it is. Bird.
It's a seabird.
Vandy actually beats Kentucky and then turns around and beats Tennessee at the end of the year.
Oh,
and
yeah.
they're 10-2.
They're in.
What?
Yeah, they're in.
But who are you gonna take out though? Are you taking out Notre Dame because of that?
No. I think Big Ten they only get 3 teams.
Yeah.
So I believe that's where the SEC will gain a team. You'll have Bama, Georgia, A&M, Ole Miss, Vandy.
So you have 5 SEC teams, 3 Big Ten, 1 from the ACC, 1 from the Big 12, Notre Dame, and then your group of 5, and that's 12. Boom.
Okay. And that could be.
That's a scenario. That's what's going to happen.
Yeah.
That's
5 teams.
That's a far greater scenario. Now, obviously, Bama loses to Oklahoma. Texas A&M loses to Texas, Georgia loses to Georgia Tech. All of that could be out of whack. Pitt beats Notre Dame.
Ooh, that's greatest.
You know what I mean? All of these things could possibly happen with this year, the way college football is, and the way Alabama's played at times, the way Georgia's played at times. There's just no, and you haven't seen Ohio State really play anyone that, they've had the easiest path this year. And I get it. You played Texas. Okay, great. You beat them the first of the game of the year. We know what first games of the year look like. But now you saw last weekend, which I kind of think let us in on a little bit, that Penn State being that close, having to have a last, second drive, so to speak, for Indiana to win, toe tap in the end zone. They're vulnerable. They're not as great. But right now, is there a clear-cut to me, best team in the country, A&M.
Yeah, and my what I say last week, I said Texas A&M should be number 2 and Indiana should be number 3. And then guess what happened this weekend? A&M killed Missouri.
Yeah.
And Indiana barely scraped by.
AP keeps them.
So there you go. I was right on that one, on that call.
Yeah. And I wonder if the playoff committee is going to actually put A&M 2 and drop Indiana to 3 because they should.
They should.
They really should.
Now, here's the crazy part. Penn State, I believe they have 6 losses now, but they only have 1 loss by more than 7 points this year. Even the UCLA loss that they took.
Right.
Well, that was not one of them. I mean, not one. It was one of the closer games. Penn State's played everybody close. They just lose games.
Yeah, and they're talented. Go ahead, Taylor.
Oh, I don't want to be the bearer of bad news, but Florida State also has that same, but we're just going to go past it because, the only loss that they had over a possession was Clemson. So kind of rough.
Because Miami was 8, Stanford was 7, and Virginia was 3 in overtime.
Yeah.
And for me, for Florida State, if you take away the Stanford loss, I would say, okay, I could see where you would want to keep Mike Norvell because those losses aren't very big. But when you lose to Stanford, you got to go, brother. I mean, you got to get out of here. And then losing the way it's just a bad case scenario for me.
Now, what if it comes to bite you back and we know the athletic director is Andrew Luck, and the head coach right now is Reich, right, who is a Buffalo Bill. He's a good quarterback. He's a good offensive mind. What if they turn around and next year they're actually respectable?
I mean, that would be something that would be, okay. But, I mean, obviously you hope to be better year in, year out.
Yeah. I mean, Belichick's getting better right now.
Yeah.
I mean, they call for people's heads, and then 2 weeks later, they're like, oh, you got two wins in a row. We like you now.
Yeah, that's true. So to end this day's show, Taylor, I know you've talked about James Franklin. We've talked about Jimbo Fisher. Have you heard any more talk about any new people that are interesting for the Florida State coaching job if at the end of the season it comes available?
Yeah, there hasn't really been much smoke around the whole idea because Florida State's administration wants to see Mike Norvell work out. I know people cringe at the idea. I understand it. There was actually a person from ESPN, I cannot remember the actual writer of the article, but he actually met up with Jimbo Fisher to discuss about the Florida State job and how interested he was and how it could really be something of interest to him to return home and come back if Mike Norvell was to end up getting fired at Florida State. And it just seems like those candidates right there, the James Franklin, the Jimbo Fisher, and maybe even another coach that's in the playoff conversation, it just seems like it's just the same names over and over and over again. And it just looks like the administration's doing their due diligence with those same names and just kind of regurgitating those until something actually happens.
You can say South Florida.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah.
Pretty much.
I mean, and see, to me, that's if you remember, that was the one name, Jimbo Fisher. That was the one for me that makes the most sense. That's the one that I think you could get him for a cheaper deal. I believe he wants to come back home. I believe he wants to be there. And if you get somebody that wants to be there, and you know what? Hey, Jimbo's got $75 million that Texas A&M's paying him. Maybe, just maybe, why don't Jimbo just make a deal and say, you know what? I'll give $10 million to get Mike Norvell out of here. Give me my $7 million a year, and let's go see if we can make the people do the chance anymore. Because realistically, Jimbo is the one that brought the national championship since Bobby Bowden. He loves Florida State, he loves the people, and he loves being a Seminole. So either way, we'll leave it there. You've been listening to the Sports Blitz with Paul Wilson. Thank you, Taylor. You've been great today. Jeffrey, you've been doing great. Bone Crusher, you killed it. We will see you tomorrow. We've got a bunch of stuff to talk about tomorrow. You're listening to us. We appreciate it. Have a good night.
104.9 ESPN Northwest Florida is your home for the NFL.
Touchdown, Denver!
We bring you the biggest games every Sunday, Monday, and Thursday night.
Oh, he's got